Hallo, wir sind hier auf dem Yoga-Festival Berlin. Neben Yoga gibt es hier auch sehr viele Konzerte zu hören mit großen Namen. Unter anderem ist der amerikanische Kirtan-Sänger Springer hier. Er wird gleich ein Konzert geben und wir haben vorher ein paar Fragen stellen.
I had a really profound experience there because even though I didn't think that I was seeking something, I wasn't interested in yoga, yoga was somehow interested in me. And the job that they had for me was to listen to a number of teachers talking about different spiritual subjects. And I would take the long talk and I would make it into something short, okay? So on different spiritual topics. So in the course of the time that I was there, I had a very interesting course in Eastern philosophy, and they were asking me to take very difficult subjects and make it simple. And this turned out to be a very, very good way to learn about yoga. I was also practicing hatha yoga, physical asana there, and there was all this singing going on, and what I liked about it was that I didn't understand it, and that I had a beautiful experience of it without understanding it or even knowing anything about it. As I learned more about it, it made it deeper, but it wasn't necessary for me to do anything but experience it. And I experienced it in a way that was very similar to the songs that I used to make up with invented languages. And so I felt in a way that I had come home to something that I had discovered much earlier in my life. That we could, but in this way, we could sing together in a space that was purely emotional. The difference between kirtan and other music, however, is that mostly when you go to a concert, you're listening. You're participating in the sense that your attention is there, but you yourself are not an instrument of the music. When you come to a kirtan, you are singing and you're part of the band. So you have an experience as a musician of yourself as a musician, and maybe for a minute you understand why it is that musicians do what they do. You know, because we have this experience of feeling bliss within ourselves. It doesn't matter whether you're playing punk or jazz, you know. This is something that's common to all musicians. And I think this experience is common potentially to all people. In the modern era, we have lost a lot of our sense of ourselves as artists, okay? Before the modern era, in many ways, everybody was an artist. People painted, or they danced, or they wrote, or they sang, and this was a common human experience. After a while, especially in the 20th century, this started to be something that other people did, and you watched or listened to passively. Kirtan is turning back the clock in a way, saying that no, art is something you participate in. You are essential to that art being created. So this is the difference between kirtan and most other music. Well, in a way, you should ask the audience. You know, it has a transforming effect for me. Yes, I've seen many people be transformed by it, and I don't know whether that means it changes their life completely. It changes their life in a moment. I think sometimes it has the capacity of cutting through a surface of things that you're anxious about, or afraid of, or angry about, and from within you comes something really joyful. And it doesn't matter where you start. This always seems to be the result. And I think people feel this relief that inside of them is something that really seems full of bliss, you know, and that it turns out that all of the things that have been bothering you are on the surface and not deep within. I think people do, especially when you don't put a religious frame around it.
Yeah.
Okay? I may be different than other kirtan singers in this, but I think that the most important thing is for people to come and sing. And once you have this experience, we can talk about this experience, but I'd rather not talk about the experience before we have it. Okay, a lot of time people are saying, oh, you should believe this, or even this word devotion is used all the time in ways that I don't know really what this means, okay? To me, devotion often implies an act of, there's implicit in it a divide, okay? And so when I'm singing, I'm not singing to, okay? In the sense that what I'm experiencing is a connection in an inner way. And I'm trying to get beyond an experience of the divine that's somehow out there or up there or over there, and that's actually in here. This is a different experience than singing to something.
Absolutely.
So what exactly should I be devoted to? Okay? There's a Shaivite text called the Avadutta Gita that says, if I am Shiva and you are Shiva and all is Shiva, then in which direction should I bow? Okay? So, to me this is very important in Kirtan, you know? Everybody's participating. Okay? So who's the most important person here? Not me, not you, everybody. So the experience of Kirtan, the form of Kirtan, is saying something very, very powerful. It's inviting us into an experience, but it's not asking us to believe in this at all. It's saying investigate it. So from this perspective, I think it's very powerful, and many, many people can experience this. If we keep putting this religion around it, first of all, I don't think that we're being faithful to what yoga is asking us to do. Yoga is pointing the way beyond religion into an authentic spiritual experience that's not mediated by some priest or some teaching, some dogma. It says your heart is at the center of the universe. Go look in it if you want to find something. And so I'm a little dubious about Kirtan that's presented as a religious experience. I'm more comfortable presenting it as art. This is a way that I think we can encounter the spiritual in a way that has a much wider cultural resonance. The economy is going up, the economy is going down. Yoga is expanding, yoga is contracting. This is only on the surface of things. What I will say is that in times when people see that their possessions have betrayed them, that all of the things that they thought they were reaching for and grabbing after turns out to be false or to fall apart, is that there's no place else to look but then within yourself. And that this is a powerful moment when this occurs, and it may be the best thing that comes from difficult economic times. You already hear now people talking about values in a different way, saying, well, you know, as long as it seemed like there was a lot of money, money was important. When all of a sudden there's not so much money, now money is no longer important. And you see people coming back to the values of the things that we share, the connection that we have to one another, and that values of compassion and respect become much more important. So in this way, I think something really profoundly good is happening.
Thank you very much.